Joe, do you have any domain you want to get appraised?
Yeah, so similar to you, Ish, after last night's marathon session with Ryan, I went deep into the well. I'm determined to try to flip a domain in this chat. So, Ryan, let me run 3 by you that I'm hoping you're going to like at least one. So I picked up clubhouseace.com, clubhousecool.com, and because I was feeling a little cracked out at what time it was, I picked up clubhousecrack.com.
It's nice playing on the whole addict theme. I really like Clubhouse Ace. That gives a nice appeal, very brandable. Somebody's definitely going to pick that up, right? Who doesn't want to be the ace on Clubhouse? Love it. So that's great. Great job taking some of the pointers yesterday. I think Clubhouse Crack might be a little over the top, but Clubhouse Ace, really like that. Maybe 1,500.
So, Ryan, what I want to do is I want to list this with you as my broker. I want to actually, as a case study for the group, I want to take Clubhouse Ace, which I figured was going to be the one that you like the most, and I want to actually go through the process with you as if I had found you outside of Clubhouse, just because I think everybody would benefit from the process.
Yeah, absolutely. We're actually getting inundated with a lot of requests, so it's always good to, list your inventory, make me available of it, because as we participate in these rooms, we have a lot of potential for synergistic relationships where certain domains might be very appealing to the right people at the right time. So it's always good to make me aware. So I always keep a running tally. At any given moment, I have thousands of domains available for sale. We have an idea about pricing, availability. So yeah, happy to do that.
Hey, so let's talk about last night. We got some big dogs in here last night. You know what I'm saying?
Big dogs. Really big dogs.
we were talking, so tell them who we had in this room yesterday. We had Nick Vanos. What was his name? Nick who? This guy owned crypto.com.
Nick Spanos. Yeah, he actually owns cryptos.com plural. So he owns the plural. And it's interesting because I was kind of pressing him. Nick, in the market to sell. I knew he wasn't, but that was real fun. I know what crypto.com sold for. So,
what did crypto.com sell for?
I believe it was $13 million.
Whoa.
So crypto.com actually is an excellent case study of an end user who saw the value of a single word category controlling domain, and they went all in. But crypto.com, it's extremely successful. It's one of the major, app platforms to purchase crypto. It's a marketplace, and they have their own tokens as well. So the rest is history on that. They went all in. So, Nick, I didn't actually know that he owned that, the plural. So yeah, he didn't want me to put out a valuation, so I respect that. But that was probably one of the, I didn't expect to have one of the highest value domains pop in the room, last night. It was very fascinating.
Yeah, we had another guy that got his domain appraised for $400,000. What was it? Hireblack.com?
Yeah, hireblack.com. Very interesting, intention around that name with the whole diversity movement right now, and a lot of the corporate end users who are wanting to get involved in that space more visibly. We had a huge valuation on that. Yeah, just a phenomenal. That's a good example of a spot on two-word.com, short and sweet, but timing is perfect around it. It's going to be very interesting what happens with that name.
Yeah, so you guys start buying domains as we speak, because literally yesterday people were buying domains and Ryan appraised some of them for thousands of dollars.
There was a woman who spent 99 cents, and Ryan gave her a $1,500 appraisal like an hour after she bought it.
He literally offered to buy it, I remember. So this is crazy. Let's get to it. So next we got David. David, thanks for being patient. What are your domains?
Yeah, no problem. I have a few here. I have denvermeetups.com, elopementdresses.com. I have elopementlocations.com. Elopements were trending before COVID and are peaking at this time. I also have melaninweddings.com. I'm interested to kind of get some feedback.
I think we had somebody in the room yesterday doing something with the melanin names. I can't even recall her name, but it's
Yeah, Sam is the girl that was doing that. We're building a little nice community. Good morning, Sam. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. Oh,
Yeah, you want to make him an offer for that melaninwedding.com? I put you on the spot.
No, this is like how it happened.
You might want to trade or something.
who said that?
It's all good. Anyways, good morning. Let's get a quote from Ryan.
Well, I had no idea about this niche. It's 2-word. It's a niche. It's a .com. It's a trending thing. It has commercial value. And I did mention yesterday, if everybody was paying attention, that, instead of the GTLDs, one of my biggest pieces of advice was stick a .com, just go a little longer tail. So when we talk about long tail domains, it means we're just increasing the amount of characters, right? And I've seen personally the biggest exponential growth in the longer tail .com. So I like that one. I think it's probably, 2,500 to 3,500 for somebody who can use it, brand around it. It's a nice name.
Yeah, and people were asking in the DMs on Dre Academy on Instagram yesterday, where do you sell these domains? So can you talk about some of the sites that you can sell them? I know Dan.com. Can you just spend about 30 seconds talking about where people can liquidate these domains?
Yeah, so a quick overview. The domain marketplace, it's growing, but there are definitely a lot of leaders in the space that have been around forever. You obviously have GoDaddy and their network. You have Afternic, which is one of my favorites because they're hooked into thousands of registrars. So when you list your domain once, you're listing it across thousands of different places. Dan.com, DAN.com is an up-and-comer, and they have excellent landing pages. They provide a lot of data around your domain portfolio when you list there. That's a great option. Then for brandable domains, you have Brand Bucket is a good one. I have a personal portfolio for sale there listed. What the nice part about that is they actually will give you a price. So just like I do for this community, Brand Bucket will appraise your name, and if it meets the criteria, they'll build you a logo and give you some ideas in terms of where you want to price it at. Downside is commission's like 30% over there, but for a brandable domain, most of the time you're picking those up on the drop, so it's a good deal. So Afternic, GoDaddy, Dan, Cedo is another one. I actually worked for that company, got my start there. They're a very robust private domain marketplace. They specialize in a lot of the lower end sales, but they do have some depth. So those are just probably the best options out there.
Yeah, and of course, it's just like art. The value is in the eye of the beholder, and you can always increase the value of a domain just like a piece of land by adding content on it, doing stuff to it, right? Putting that curb appeal on it. So I think it's a very, very underrated way to amass wealth. I'm all about creating wealth for people that wants to build wealth, and I don't think wealth has to do with working too hard. This is a very smart way to diversify your portfolio. There are people that have actually sold portfolios to GoDaddy. For example, a guy named Rick Schilling, who sold his portfolio of .coms for a rumored $350 million to GoDaddy. So this is serious shit. Don't think it's like, there are people that literally pay 6 figures for sports cards, PGA rated, PGA 10 or whatever, PSA grade 10, blah, blah, blah. There's a community around that. And if you have one of those holy grail of cards, people will pay you $250,000, $500,000 in some cases for those cards. So it's very similar. People are, diversifying to hard assets and digital assets and domains for whatever reason, right? Just like land, there's only so many domains that will be available, right? So I think you guys should, take this very seriously. And I've met people from this conversations that have portfolios, like ML Billion went out and bought 4,000 domains the other day, right? So it's one of those things where, like Ryan said, you can never lose, right? So let's get to it. Terry, what are your domains, my brother?
Yeah, I'm kind of playing around on the healthcare side. Like, honestly, man, I was up last night buying some stuff, and I got some stuff I'm looking at as it relates to like COVID. And I don't know if I want to share them yet because it was crazy. I don't know if I want to share them on here quite yet. But
You don't have to. You don't have to. If you want to, you can DM Dre Academy on Instagram.
Okay.
And we can definitely make sure Ryan gets it, and that's one way to go about it, and that goes for everyone. Follow Dre Academy on Instagram, so we're trying to keep people informed and educated on just the trends and the opportunities in digital real estate.
What's the next step? I know you said that Ryan it values the domain. So say we find some domains and we invest into it, and he kind of puts value on it. Ryan, do you guys make an offer to purchase it, or how does it work, or is it just for us to know?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, I will make offers on certain domains I see value on, so I'm always, feel free to pitch me. But, primarily what I do is I make a liquid marketplace for buyers and sellers. So I'm an intermediary, just like, real estate agents who make their living buying and selling expensive homes. That's really the exact parallel, which is what I do, which is, at any given month, we have exclusive domains under contract for sale. We'll typically take an asset on, 60, 90 days, maybe more, and try to move that domain asset for the owner. So we work with both buyers and sellers. So depending upon the name, it could make sense for an exclusive listing. What I'm encouraging people to do now is, since we're building out such a big community here on Clubhouse, is to, let us know what types of names you have, what genre, what extension, so we can begin tracking that. So when we do make a potential match, we can start to connect the dots for people and create a ton of value, right? So, what I do is primarily on the higher end of the market. So it's short one-word generic.coms, typically selling anywhere from 200,000 to 5 million. But that doesn't mean that the lower end of the market doesn't move fast. It does. We do a lot of stuff, under 50 grand for sure. And the market's opening up, especially with the longertail.com. So, it's good to make us aware of it. And, I'm always want to be aware of what's available.
And the way I do these rooms, anyone that you see with a moderator badge is a vetted digital real estate investor that will make an offer if you have a domain, right? So Joe does it, I do it, Ryan does it. And if anyone comes in the room that we know acquires domain per Ryan's, suggestion, I'll easily make them a moderator. The whole idea is, we want to help people build wealth and learn how to build wealth. Domains can help you become very wealthy, right? And again, it's a very, very easy barrier of entry. Anyone can actually acquire a domain. Ryan, you know what? I was messing around last night. I found onlyfans.club. Give me an appraisal.
Okay, was that OnlyFans?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's nice exclusivity around the name.
You know what onlyfans.com is, right?
No, I don't. Let me check it out right now.
Who wants to tell him?
See, this is the thing. I'm not aware of everything.
Let him see on his own.
Does anybody on the panel want to tell Ryan what OnlyFans
You
is?
gotta tell him, that's huge.
No, tell him. So OnlyFans is a company that allows people to monetize their content. A lot of sexual content is on OnlyFans, and it's a company that did $400 million in revenue last year. But I found OnlyFans.club and I put a bid in for it. The guy wanted 500. I put in a bid for 300, and I acquired it. I was like, you know what?
Nice, very nice.
Yeah, from your teachings, there might be a trademark issue there, but they might say, let's give him 100 grand and let him go kick rocks. Because I don't know. I just think that there's potential there. But what are your thoughts, though, based off what I just told you?
Yeah, it's a risky play, but it's nice. I mean, there's definitely a monetization play, especially if they carry over here. And the thing too is, even if you made $1,000 on that, what's the ROI on a percentage basis? It's still crushing it. So the thing with domains to keep in mind is, whether you're making $1,000 or $100,000, it's all profit. So, keep that in mind. I always tell people, they always ask me, when should I sell? And I'm like, well, what did you buy it at? What's the percentage? What's your ROI, on that domain? Oftentimes people can get very greedy when it comes to domain names. Now, sometimes that can be a strategy, but you always have to weigh offers, on an individual basis and take a step back and see if it makes sense, because the quicker you can liquidate sometimes, the more you can roll into more speculative purchases. So now that I know what this is, maybe 1,500, could be a lot more.
I'm gonna hold out. Thank you. Let's go to the next guy. Mike, what's going on?
Hey, really, I heard about the room yesterday. I just popped in to support you because it just reminded me of back in the day, and Ryan knows I'm dating myself. 20-some odd years ago, this was like a huge game. I guess Ryan's been staying in it, but right now, it looks like it's resurfaced. So I'm listening in. I just had one, new black tech, and I was able to get that newblacktech.club. But there's some, you've got my mind going now. This is awesome. Thanks, Ryan. And it's, I always support your room, so I'm here if you need me as well.
Oh, thanks.
Appreciate you, brother. Hey, what's going on, Shane? What's your domain?
Hey, how's it going? I got a couple actually, just like from the past few minutes, started trying this.
I love it. Taking action. Let's see if you hit the lottery. Come on, what you got?
Right. The buyback.club. We got rockin.club. That's rockn.club. housesforyou.club. hiredmore.club. and thetravelgang.club.
Oh, very cool. You're definitely putting some thought into that, and I like that. The last one, the travel club's a little long for me. I do think that if you use misspellings correctly and you really think through a misspelling domain, you can brand it, especially on a platform like this. But can you just run through the other names again one more time?
Absolutely. We got thebuyback.club, rockin.club, houses for you, that's fully spelled out, hiredmore.club, and thetravelgang.club.
Okay, I would say as the quote from the movie, I think it was The Social Dilemma, or I can't even remember the name, but the quote was "lose the," and it was made from the recommendation to Mark Zuckerberg to drop the in the domain. So I'm not a big fan of the. I like Rockin' Club, and I really like houses for you, because that's a huge, real estate is one of the most talked about subjects here on the platform. So both of those, could be anywhere, from $500 to $600. I think houses for you, you could get it, maybe into the four figures there.
Cool. Just to recap, we're talking about digital real estate, acquiring domains online specifically. And Ryan has sold over $75 million worth of domains. He was the guy that actually got Instagram their domain, Instagram.com, for an undisclosed amount. And Ryan is very, very experienced in appraising domains. So he's kind enough to be here. And if you have a domain that you would like to get appraised, you can just raise your hand. I'll let you up on stage shortly. And you get a free appraisal from a world-renowned expert. And another thing to keep in mind is you've noticed that a lot of people are talking about .clubs. There's a speculation that .clubs will, be in demand because of Clubhouse. Outside of that, .club extensions were created for online communities. We are in what's a thriving online community right now, right? Everyone is in this specific room because the subject interests them. And I think that we're going to see a huge shift into online community culture. So that's why people are buying .clubs. Single name .clubs have increased tremendously in value. I've been buying a lot of them. And Ryan has been a blessing, because he's helped me guide that strategy. Like, okay, this is what you don't buy. You don't want to buy right? So you learn a lot from these conversations, and more importantly, you get a clear insight into how to become a domain investor, or better yet, a digital real estate investor, you can follow Dre Academy on Instagram to stay connected and engaged on these topics. Ryan is going to be coming up with some courses, some group coaching, and all that jazz, right? So definitely you want to be in the mix of all that. So let's get to the next guy, my boy Stevie. What up, bro?
What's up, bro? What's up, Ryan, Ish, and Joe? How you guys doing?
All right.
Doing well, man. Thank you.
Good.
Mr. Ryan, I have a bunch of domains, as I've been telling Ish.
Stevie went crazy, man. He calls me every. I'm like, slow down. It's addictive, man. He went and spent a couple of thousands on some domains. He owns BeverlyHills.club.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I have BeverlyHills.club, Malibu.club, LongBeach.club, a bunch of cities, but I wanted to get an evaluation on those 3 right there, if possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think Beverly Hills Club, I mean, that's, I probably wouldn't be selling that for less than 4,000. And I think it's potentially with the, the branding around that particular geographic area. I mean, it could be 7,000 to 9,000, could be more. I mean, you put that out to the right people, I think you're going to have, a lot of demand when they know it's available. So that's a fantastic one.
Ryan, I'm gonna start dropping bombs when we hit numbers like that. That's a score. What did that cost you, Stevie?
Beverly Hills costed like $246, I believe, almost $300.
Yeah, that is a great buy.
That's amazing. But what about the rest? Malibu.club, and what was the third one?
Long Beach, LongBeach.club.
Yeah, so Malibu, I was actually brokering the name Malibu.com a while back. We did not sell it at the time. Huge luxury community, right? I'm not sure the club scene. I mean, that's definitely a couple grand at least. I think the city club names are probably more valuable, right? But maybe 3 to 4K on that. And it's interesting too. You might be able to find some of these better .club deals in the auctions in that wheelhouse of $200 to $400, right, or maybe $200 to $800. Might be something to look at because you're paying a little bit more, but you're probably going to get a little higher quality names. So that's an interesting pond to start fishing in.
Yeah, Stevie, you're on the right track, man. Trey, what up, bro?
Hey yo, what's up, everybody? I was in here yesterday and I was listening to everybody, and I know we're going crazy on like the domains, especially like the .clubs. So I got a few of them.
Give us your best one.
Best one, actually, I got a .com too. So I got a .com, Bitcoin, Pitbull.com, and then I have musicproducers.com.
Ooh, that's a good one. Musicproducers.com is good.
Yeah, musicproducers.com is great. I'm not a big fan of Bitcoin Pitbull. I don't know. I mean, it's a branding name, but from a resale perspective, as a domainer, probably wouldn't touch it. But it's a music producers.
Yeah, music producers. It's actually .club. My bad. I said .com.
Oh, okay. .club.
Yeah,
all right,
.club.
that definitely changes the valuation.
Yeah.
Maybe $400 on that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me go ahead and keep searching. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, if you, it's interesting. I came prepared to this room today, and I really should have bought this domain because it was available as of a couple hours ago, but it's taken. So I'm experiencing that domainer miss out moment, and I'll share with you what it was. I really should have picked it up. I was going to give it out as a free recommendation this today in this room and kind of create a free for all, but does anybody want to know what it was?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes, sir.
Right. Clubs.io.
You let that one go, huh?
It was open. It was available. I was actually going to share it to the room today, but somebody got to it, and good for them. So I didn't release it. But what an interesting plural. Now, granted, it's an IO extension, a little more there, but what a great brand to do something special there. I actually have about 6 or 7 more. I can go ahead and periodically I'll drop them in the room, and if people see value, I mean, it's I believe they're still open.
We should drop them on Dre Academy on Instagram, so that will make people follow us.
Perfect.
So if you want to see those domains, I'm going to release them in an hour on Dre Academy on Instagram.
Hey, Ish, I don't know if you had mentioned if plans for Dre Academy were also going to include some sort of like a bulletin board where members within the academy, whether on Instagram or here on Clubhouse, could post their own domains. But I think I had mentioned that I also purchased, for the use of this group, domaininvestment.club, which I would be more than willing to offer up if anybody had any ideas on how we could create like an internal bulletin board where members within this group could flip domains to each other.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's definitely chat about that. Yeah, that sounds great to me. I'm all about building platforms and communities. That's how you build wealth. Just, life hack. Anyways, let's move on. My boy, Jake. I know Jake went crazy and went and bought every duck club he could find. He had algorithms and 5 screens going on. This guy doesn't play. What's up, Jake Hart?
Yeah, what's up, Ish, man? Pleasure, and pleasure to Ryan and Joe as well. Outside of the club domains, I was actually able to do something kind of unique here. So there's this new addition to the Las Vegas Strip. It's the Dream Hotel. They actually haven't even broke ground yet. It should be done in 2023. I was able to actually inquire all the domains around that namesake. So we have dreamhotellasvegas.com, dreamhotellv.com, dreamhotelrooms.com, dreamhotelslv, and the Dream Hotel Las Vegas as well. So worst case, I was thinking like some affiliate offers, obviously, in that time sake. But is there any value, what you guys say around those different domains?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a legit are you saying this is a new property that's up and coming, or a new hotel that's coming on the Strip?
Yeah, it's not even built yet. It's like the newest addition to the Las Vegas Strip.
Interesting. One of the things I see happening around the Clubhouse revolution, as I call it, is that you wonder how this platform is going to aggregate local communities by geographic area. I mean, imagine that. Like, for instance, if the MGM Hotel had some type of Clubhouse presence and it was a way to aggregate everybody in that location at once, that's a very interesting play as far as growing communities. So, from a generic perspective, flipping those names, I don't see much there, but in terms of developing them out around a central brand, I think there's lots of value.
Awesome. My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, that sounds like what you said earlier, Jake, was the best approach will probably be to build some sort of affiliate strategy around those domains. But you have the foresight to purchase them now and just sit on them till that project takes off. But I know you have some more, Jake. What else you got?
They're in the cut right now.
Jake 007. All right, what's going on, Sandra? Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much for the space. All right, I have a list.
Let's get it. Give us your best.
All right, okay. So I have advertising.com. I've had that for a while.
You have advertising.com?
Advertisingtank.com. Becomeabettersalesperson.com. Coursecreator.club. Courseofactions.com. EliteCourseCreator.com. And let me see, I have RealDrivers.club. And I have the RealDriversClub.com. That's my son's, actually. I shouldn't cancel that one. And I have a bunch more. Secrets.com. UltimateSellingStrategies.com. I think that's good for now, right?
Not too long.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to single out one name.
Okay.
CourseCreator.club. I like that because course promotion is huge, and it's only going to get stronger here on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
You got a CCC in there, so Course Creator Club. There's a lot you could do with the logo and brand around that. So I really like that name. Do you know what you want to sell that for?
Nope, I just bought it when you were talking earlier.
Well, now that I know your investment cost, probably shouldn't have told me. But no, that's great. I'd hold out on that, a couple grand at least.
Okay.
The
Awesome.
other names are a little too long tail for me, even though you probably could use them for some type of landing page,
Yeah.
in the sales space. But from a domain investment space, keep it as short as you can. Keep it as clear as possible, and develop a discipline around your buying. Right. So somebody mentioned the other day, you're always better off buying the best possible name you can afford in your niche.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah, that was good. What's going on, Bruce?
Bruce?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? So I had a couple questions about the extension. So I know Ryan was talking earlier about IO. Now my question is, like, will IO and .club, are like those like worth just as much as your .com domains?
No, they're not, and we already went over that. .coms are the most premium domains. I just need you to give us the domains that you have. We have a lot of people waiting, and we'll give you a value for them, Bruce.
Okay, yeah, no worries. So I just got, let's see, BitcoinVenture.club, BlackInvest.club, Scottsdale.ventures. And let's do a few more right here. HealthyCloudSolutions.com.
That's too long.
And CannabisRxLab.com.
Those are long.
Interesting. What was the last one?
CannabisRxLab.com.
Got it. So out of those, I'm going to single out BlackInvest.club. That's an interesting name because you're drilling down into a micro audience based on topic. It's a very niche area, right? So that's a very interesting club that I would, not me, but it's a good angle, right? You can build a community around that. And so that's good thinking on that one. The other ones aren't really getting my attention, but that's a nice one, maybe 2,000.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good stuff, good stuff. Mike, what's going on? What you got?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Great.
Excellent. Appreciate this group. So a couple of them. I have one. It's called OnlineCash.club, SocialDilemma.club, and this one might be a little bit weird because I'm into real estate, but I have one that says YouCanWholesale.com, and that's it.
That's a good one.
What was the cash club name?
Let me go back. I'm sorry. OnlineCash.club and SocialDilemma.club.
Yeah, not a big fan of the Social Dilemma. I do like the online cash name. Maybe $700.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys.
Next up, please. That would be Susan. Hi, Susan. Good morning.
Hey, sorry, Brenda. Good
No,
morning.
it's all good.
Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. So
which-
this is definitely not my space. That being said, these are what I have. FlipThisHouse.club, ShortSaleRealEstate.club, Multifam.club, WholesaleRealEstate.club, Muslima.club, and FloridaRealtor.club.
Nice. So you got some nice ones in there. I'm going to single out was it FlipMyHouse.club?
Flip This House.
Flip This House. I like that a lot. That's my favorite because, again, real estate is one of the most talked about topics on here. I mean, I think digital real estate is actually going to eventually outpace it once people wake up to it. But physical real estate is just so massive. There's so many different angles of investment. That's a great one. I'm not sure how long you've had it or you recently registered, but that's a name you should make me aware of.
I just registered while you guys were talking. I
like it.
30 seconds ago.
I mean, 2,500 to 3,500. If you, good job.
Right.
Yeah, definitely follow Dre Academy, and we're building a community where maybe someone would even buy from you for a little more. You know what I mean?
Wait, can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
It's smarter to hold on to these if I don't see value in that $2,500. Is this like regular real estate where you are better off holding?
So here's my recommendation. Yes, I think that you're going to see an appreciation in .club, but that doesn't mean. I mean, look, if your buy-in price is 99% and you sell it for $3,000, I mean, I'm not a math guy, but the ROI is extremely high on that, right? So you could take those profits, roll it back in, buy a whole ton of other names, or if you've got a time frame, why not wait 12 months? If this thing blows up the way some people think it's going to, you may be sitting on a gold mine. So I'm always, the majority of my wealthiest clients, when they buy domains, it's like pulling teeth. You can never get them to sell because they just, they're looking at it as a multi-generational asset. That's not for everybody. I mean, there are aggressive domain flippers, but they buy now and they sell tomorrow. There's nothing wrong with that. So again, this goes back to profiling your investment objectives around your domain portfolio. What's your budget? What's your time frame? What's your risk level? How many domains do you want to carry in your portfolio? Because that's another key consideration is what's your carry cost per year with the registrar. So if you're going to have 500 names, you're going to have to renew all those names every year on an annual basis. And, that's a consideration, right? So I think I think they're going up in value. So, that would probably say you're better off maybe holding a little bit, seeing what types of inbound offers you can field and maybe just sit tight, right? I mean, heck, for 99 cents, you can wait 2 years and score something, right? And that's why, again, I keep using that analogy of ice fishing. Good domainers, they find the pond that they want to fish in. And then they go out, they use their mind to come out with the highest quality creative combination of domains. And then they put the bait down. So you put the bait down by listing them with brokers, listing them on domain marketplaces, getting a sense of valuation. And then you wait for the fish to come by, right? You don't have to be, the nice thing is the larger your portfolio is, the less aggressive you have to be.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Dr. Meadows, good morning.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Ryan and Ish. I have one question and then I have some domains. Ryan, I've been using the .com strategy versus the .club strategy. Which do you think would be more valuable over the long haul?
Always .com. I mean, that's an easy answer. It's always going to be .com. The conversation around .club is really a brand new conversation that has started as potentially, will Clubhouse be a catalyst for .club domains? It's just such an interesting discussion. I don't know if it will, but I have a feeling it's going to. So not all domain names have catalysts behind them. Some domains have become cool because the market determined that they were, like .io. It gained a natural following in the tech space, and the rest is history, right? So, .club, you're a lot more speculative, right? We don't know what's going to happen with this platform or whatever, but it's a short extension, and it's also 99 cents. So that, your downside risk there is pretty low. When you get into a .com, okay, it's $12. Well, you go out, you can buy 10 .clubs for the same amount. That's an interesting play from an investment perspective, right? So you're going to pay more for .com. .com has continued to go up in value since I started in this business, right? So you can never go wrong if you're playing with the gold standard, right? That being said, you can be more speculative. You can play in any domain extension, right? I'm sure there are people out there who just buy and sell whatever because they've developed an area of expertise around that particular GTLD. But, I've always been a .com guy, always will be.
What are your domains, Dr. Meadows? What were the domains?
Yes, it's clubhouseketo.com, clubhouseplays.com, clubhouseexotica.com, clubhousetutors.com, clubhousephysicians.com, clubhouseballers.com, clubhousestuds.com, and iteachonClubhouse.com.
Wow, you did your homework. I really like
Yes,
Clubhouse.
I'm listening to you.
Yeah, no, Clubhouse Tutors is great. What's Clubhouse? Was it Keto Clubhouse or Clubhouse Keto?
Clubhouse Keto.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's awesome. I'm a big fan. There's a huge community around weight loss, and certainly in the keto community, that's perfect. So now, you take a domain like that, you get on the search bar, you jump into all the rooms related to keto, and I don't know how many there are, but now you have a captive audience that you could passively promote that domain in your profile just by showing up, right? So I love Clubhouse Tutors. I love Clubhouse Keto. Couple K each. I'd probably sit on them.
Okay, wonderful. And the one that sent you a message about this morning was iteachonClubhouse.com. That one's long, but I wanted to see if it was worth anything.
It could be. I think from a speculation point of view, it's long, right? So from a domain investor standpoint, again, develop your disciplines. For me, it's too long. I wouldn't invest in it just because it's, comparing different types of domains. I'm always going to go with something shorter, more succinct, more easily brandable, right? So I would pass on it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Don't forget to follow Dre Academy on Instagram. We're building a community of digital real estate investors. This is very exciting. I see people have been here for hours now, and it's very addictive once you get into it. How many domains have you bought, Dr. Meadows, in the last week?
I have probably 20.
There you go. It adds up rather quickly, So just keep going and be strategic about it. The cool thing is we have Ryan's support, and he can share insights and guidance with us, so we don't just go out there and throw money away. We want to learn how to acquire the right ones. So I'm sticking to Ryan so that I can build wealth with digital real estate. What's up, Paul?
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
How you guys doing? Thank you for the opportunity to speak up here. So, kind of like what Ryan was saying, I specialize in the .in space. It's the CCTLD for India, the top level country code for India. And I've been in there since pretty much the sunrise period, the very first day that the domains got released, started getting interested in them, and just picked up, a couple of hundred premium one-word gems, drone.in, clone.in, price.in, groupie.in, wholesale, everything you can imagine in .in space. So that's kind of my my journey into the domaining world. But I wanted to ask Ryan what his thoughts are on single letter GTLDs, such as I have two, I.rent and E.link.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, those are almost impossible to get from the registrars. A lot of them hold them back. Like, for instance, single-letter.coms are pretty much considered priceless, almost too valuable to even sell, right? That's why, I think Elon Musk picked up X.com. He's the right guy to sell that too. So, they're all, I rent. I mean, talk about a branding play. Even though that's not a .com, it's very short. It's catchy. It can definitely be branded up. So that's a unique wild card name. You could promote in the real estate space to some of the biggest players, and that could be a huge surprise. I mean, I don't know. I rent.
It's funny because there was a company called iRent.com which went under. Now it's no longer exists, but they were, they previously existed. So, and I had no idea about them. These are two names that I was at NamesCon a couple of years ago. They start feeding you all these drinks, and the next thing you know, you're bidding $10,000 on these names, and these portfolios. So
Yeah, I've
that's
sat
kind of what
through that auction for many years.
Is that how it works? They give you champagne and you start buying
champagne, whiskey,
Genius business model.
whiskey, vodka on the house. They just they load you up and they send you off with these paddles and you just start throwing these paddles up in the air. Trying to outbid each other for names that you have no business being in. But it's I've always wanted a single letter, and I knew I could never achieve a .com. So I was like, all right, if not the king of spades, the king of all trades, I'll be the jack of some. And
no, that's pretty awesome because it's so unique, right? And it's not so much that .rent is a valuable extension, but if the right ad agency got a hold of that idea and you can pitch them, I mean, maybe it's a 25K name, maybe it's a lot more. I don't know.
Yeah, here's my other part of it. On the .rent, if you're looking to get any other .rent single letter, it's a $12,000 a year fee. So part of my agreement with when I negotiated this is that it's going to be a standard renewal. So if you look at a 10-year period on this, that's $120,000 in renewals for any other single letter .rent. Whereas, if you choose to buy my name, you can save all that money and it gets passed down as well. So I've made sure of all that in my contract. And, because it was a pretty big purchase and I didn't want to end up paying $12,000 a year in renewals, in a renewal fee. Some of these have ridiculous annual renewal fees.
Paul, would you mind walking us through briefly that process? Because you're the first person who's brought up negotiations. That's actually the first time I've heard that.
Well, the negotiation was when I got my renewal bill and it said $12,000. And so when they announced this NamesCon, it was the Michael Cyber show, Domain Sherpa show, got on there with a couple of these big domainers and they were talking about it. And Monty Khan had mentioned at that time that we are going to make sure that we're going to have no domains in here with premium renewals. So that was my, I was like, oh yes, single letter, no premium, because I've been looking at single letters and they're all like, ridiculous on the renewal fees. So this was my chance to get in there. And then when I got the bill, it said $12,000. And so that's when I just reached out. I'm like, hey, you guys said this on the show. This is, it's got to go back to the regular renewal. And so we renegotiated, not renegotiated, but I mean, they sent me another bill with just a basic renewal fee, which is, I think it's like $40 or $50 a year now. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny because one of my clients is a company called Radix, which is also a registrar.
Yep.
They own .site, .website,
Yep.
.font.
I know them very well, yes.
Yeah, so they, I had a client that came up with a product and they wanted to do a JV with them and they offered my .site to them, and basically what happened was they came back and said the same thing you said, like this site costs $6,500 if you were to purchase it on GoDaddy, and there's a $6,500 annual renewal fee, but we'll waive that, right? So, you can negotiate with the registrar.
Yes.
The problem is people don't even know who a registrar is, right? So if you're going to do this in a high level, it's important that you stay informed on what the best practices are. Like Paul said, I just learned something different today. Like they get you guys drunk at NamesCon, and so I just think that this is all shifting online. I think that there's an opportunity to disrupt sort of like how it's done right now. We're talking about .clubs specifically. We've been talking about people acquiring .clubs because of speculation, right? And Ryan mentioned that he knows the guy who owns that .club extension. He might not even know what Clubhouse is, right? So it's just it's interesting because this whole space is mostly speculative, like art. But let me ask you a question, Paul. Yeah. What has been your biggest ROI in terms of like acquired a domain and sold it?
So you can see it's public information. In November, I sold VPN.N for, I'm going to say, I think it's 25K or 30K. I think it's 25K. And purchase price on it was $300. So,
nice.
Yeah, I mean,
nice deal.
I sold Rehab.in the very same month for, I think it was 20K or 18K or something like that. And same thing, my purchase price on these was, in inception, pretty much I bought a big portfolio of, someone had beat me to
the Sunrise on a bunch of these names. So I kind of had to buy them for $300 at that time each, but that's okay. I was, all my investments, crypto, real estate, everything is long term. I'm not selling anything. I just hold on, and if I can 50x or 100x, okay, we'll consider. It's like.
Yeah.
But one concern I had, Ryan, is I know everyone is buying all these clubhouse names. If they get a registered trademark, we're going to have a big problem.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. So that actually came up, and again, I did preface a lot of the conversations that yes, in that I've actually done that for companies before. Is people like, hey, go and the IP lawyer says get the whip out.
Yep.
Go get these names. That the other side though is a lot of times they do pay. They pay for it. So instead of doing a UDRP, they're basically give me a budget and I go out and negotiate. Picking these things off. So there are definitely trademark risks. I wouldn't call it an issue, but absolutely. And that's why, I'm saying, look, .club is probably the much cleaner, safer play here.
Yep.
It's shorter. It's synergistic. There's no TM issues.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's again another potential catalyst. But I can't. I mean, the Clubhouse domains have been snagged. I was probably spending an hour this morning. I couldn't believe how many of them were gone. So it's interesting. But and Paul, thanks for coming on. You're a perfect example of somebody who is making a living in a niche genre of a GTLD. I've never even sold a .in, and I've been doing this, over a decade. .com is busy enough for me. So it just shows the enormous opportunity, the size and the scope of the market. But can you talk a little bit, just for the education factor in the group, about the Sunrise period so people understand what that is?
Sure. Well, this is when a new extension is going to be released. They announce the date, and at that point, at a certain time. So, when it was for the .in, it was, I remember it vividly, February 16th, 2005. I don't remember the exact time, but it was like, at midnight, at the stroke of midnight, boom, it opens up, and then you're basically allowed to go in there and start registering names. So with the .in, they opened it up to everybody internationally, unlimited domains. So that was the good news. But I'm talking specifically about .in. They kind of frown upon hoarders in the sense that, you obviously no trademark names. If you have generic names, they don't really care. But if you're holding on to names like, Google AdSense.in, stuff like that, they're going to come after you. So they were very, they were pretty specific in that sense. But that's what it is. Sunrise period, they open it up. You're able to go in and basically register your domain names. The first one in gets the domain name.
Yeah, it's interesting because sometimes when you buy this copyrighted domains, it seems like you have to be smart about it. Like I found OnlyFans.club, and I think that's worth something, but Ryan doesn't think so. but the point is, you can like you said, I would love to meet Tim Stokely. That's the guy that owns OnlyFans. If I follow him on LinkedIn. If I just say, listen, I picked this up for you, I'd love to give it to you guys because I don't think it's something you want out there. I can get a meeting with that guy, and if I sit down with that guy for an hour, I'm sure I can add value. So you can actually acquire these domains and use them as a way to connect with people. Some guy had GrantCardone.club, and that's what Ryan suggested.
Wow. I'm not sure about how that would work in terms of owning someone's name and whether that's a trademark or not. I'm not sure how that would go about that. I try to. I've been on the opposite side of the whip one time, and that was more than enough.
Yeah, on Clubhouse, someone sold a domain for $50,000 live. Yeah, what happened was they purchased. I think it was Kylie. What's her name? Cardi B's real name. And I'm not sure if it was a .club extension, but apparently they sold it for $50,000 here on Clubhouse. So who knows?
Wow.
Maybe, Ryan, can we do an appraisal? I have mydigital.art.
.art, interesting. I love that. The NFT space is exploding. I'm not going to put a high valuation on a .art though. Maybe $400 or $500.
Have you checked out what's going on mydigitalart.com? I'm not in front of my machine right now, but mydigitalart, is anything going on that site?
No, I haven't even checked.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I agree with Ryan. The NFT space is blowing up. You know, I've just started to wet my toes in that space, and it's very interesting.
Hey Ryan, I got a premium that I was saving, but I want to run it by you. What do you think about the truth about .money? So the truth about money.
It's interesting. I was actually working with a guy back in the day of my Token Fest conference, and I believe that was the name of a documentary series he was actually looking to produce. I'm not even sure if it was produced then. Pretty sure that was the name of it, though. You know, again, I think, you know, it could be used for a docu-series or something, but from a speculation standpoint, you know, really hard to value.
One of these is going to be a hit. I'm determined, Ryan.
Well, let's get some more. We have Lena. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Kings. So I actually have a few. I have chmoderators.com. I have clubhousediva.com, clubhousedivas.com, clubhouseelite.com, clubhousefunny.com, clubhousegamer.com, clubhousejoy.com, clubhousemansion.com, clubhousetop100.com, clubhousetopclubs.com, and I have buildingebooks.com.
Very cool. You know, so, you know, my favorite is Clubhouse Diva and clubhouseelite.com, definitely. Those, you know, again, we just made the statement of the potential for TM risk there. But that being said, they're very solid two-word.coms, and you know, it wouldn't surprise me at all if somebody came in to offer you $3 or $4K a piece for those two.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna hold on to them for right now. What was the website that you guys mentioned or a link to click on? Because I was thinking about maybe putting up just a page or so, like a single page for each of them. So then if a person is interested, they can contact my assistant or so just to, you know, see about the domain name. Is that something that's preferred, or is that?
Yeah, there are lots of different options there, depending upon if you're going to list with a marketplace or if you're going to use some independent software, which I'm happy to recommend. You know, where you could do it yourself. You know, throw up a logo, throw up an inbound inquiry form, which is really what you want to do. You got to make sure when you're acquiring these domains, you stage them properly, so that potential buyers can contact you easily, and you paint a vision for the domain. You don't oversell it, but you paint the vision, and that usually comes in the form of a nice logo, you know, clean form. There's different strategies behind it depending upon if you want to list it with a firm price or you just want to field, you know, open inbound offers. But, you know, happy to talk about that later.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, well, I just introduced my friend Tim on stage. Tim actually has a company called True Fans, and I'm going to see if he has an interest. Tim, so we've been talking about domains, right? And people have been acquiring all these domains, right? So I want you to talk about True Fans real briefly, and then I'm going to make you an offer for the domain onlyfans.club. And maybe you can send that as, maybe you might see value in it. I literally just bought onlyfans.club, and I was thinking about you when I bought it. I was like, you know, someone has Gary.club and he forwards it to another website. Maybe Tim will see value in this. That's a great SEO move for you.
That's savage. And I saw all the domains that you've been getting, man. It's such a cool topic. Thank you for having me up here. So real quick, my name's Tim. I'm actually the founder of TrueFans.com, and we're very similar to Patreon and OnlyFans. However, there's some key differences, right? We don't allow porn. We're an invite-only creator community, so every single person that comes in, whether it's through an application or it is through, you know, one of our recruiters that are out there, talent managers, and we're U.S. based. I'm a veteran, proud veteran, so it's a vet-owned business, and we've got some more features, and functionality that other platforms don't have. And I think the biggest key is that we pay more and we pay faster. There's no waiting. So it's been an honor to build that platform. We actually, you know, it's kind of horrible to say this, but we kind of got lucky with the COVID stuff, we actually launched right when it was kicking off, and just grateful to be a life preserver for a lot of those entertainers and musicians, people that especially that traveled around for their income, speakers, to help them, leverage and monetize their brand. In regards to digital real estate, it's funny. So where I'm from, in small Kokomo, Indiana, it's about 40 minutes north of Indianapolis. They're building a new park. It's going to be called Championship Park, and my ex-business partner actually bought that domain. So they invested literally $80 million into building this new baseball facility for these camps. And it's interesting that none of these guys went out and bought that digital real estate before they actually broke ground and started this project. So he owns that. It's called championshippark.com. So I would love really to just listen in-ish and get some insight in regard to some of these folks that are doing this in a bigger way. And as far as onlyfans.club, let me know that offer.
All right, just slide in my DM. Okay. All right.
Well, very, very interesting business. Thanks for sharing that. I'm actually on your website right now, but it looks like you're in the business of curation, right? You're really allowing content creators to continue to drill down into their niche. You're really perfect timing for this kind of business.
Yeah, man. The biggest problem, and it started really primitively. We looked at the problem that the market faced, and it just so happens that our market are influencers and creatives and artists, and people are pissed. To be honest, people are pissed now more than ever with the censorship and the demonetization and all the rules and regulations. And traditional social media, as you guys all know, they're built on the pay-to-play model. So they're selling your data. And I'm grateful for the features, obviously, that Facebook allows for marketing and such, but it's not really a win-win-win environment where, our paradigm shift of this with our social media platform is to not diminish engagement, not to, run ads and let people pay to play, right, to get access to their reach. We're actually, whether you have 10 people or 10 million people, you send out a message, everyone's going to get that message. If you make a post, everybody gets notified. If you have your audience, you control and own that data. And it's just a different shift. So, yeah, and a big difference as well, us being invite only, we have a smaller creator community. We listen, man, with the intent to engineer. So literally anybody that's got a suggestion or an idea, I'm not an influencer. I don't really ever want to be one. I'd like to stay behind the scenes. But if somebody has creative ideas or features that they need for their specific brand or their needs, we listen and roll up our sleeves. And that's really been how we've gotten the answers to the test as far as what we need to do next, as far as innovating.
Yeah, it's a great point. I think everybody's probably seen that documentary on Netflix, The Social Dilemma, and one of the quotes in that show was, if you don't know what the product is, you're the product. And we talk about, the domain name. Owning a domain name is the ultimate form of control. The entire world is shifting, back onto the domain name. It's off of these third-party platforms where you got to run your business off your own domain. You can use the social media networks as ancillary accelerators for what you're doing. But if you don't have that name, it is the most important thing. You need to control it, where your content is, and it's a fundamental base lever or base foundation, for what.
Yeah, I think we lost Ryan there for a second. So can you spell out the domain, the true fans for people so they know how to spell the URL, Tim?
Yeah, so we actually just, I'm sorry if it's a little windy. So we just opened up the application section. Just say like Clubhouse or Ish's Clubhouse if you do fill out an application. That way I know, where you came from. But it's truefans with a Z.com, TRUEFANZ.com. And, when you are filling out that application, do know that we have a team in place that reviews that, and we're looking at, how you answer the question that's on the application. We look at your whole character, as far as, your audience and whatnot, and what you're doing on social media, and if you're a good fit for this creative community. So please, don't do like a one-word thing. The likelihood of you just submitting "I'm cool" and getting rejected is very high. So just go to drewfans.com, and then our IG is inside my profile. You can follow us and see some more information, videos, etc. there.
Awesome. Ryan, are you back?
I'm back. Sorry about that.
All right, no worries. Let's get some domains appraised. So next up is Stacy, Sonny, and then Big Dice. Go ahead, Stacy.
Hi. Thanks for inviting me in, Terry. He might be still here, but he might have left. I had just a few.
Still here.
I don't know any of your rules that you've talked about because I just happened to be pinged in here and listening. But one I have is champion for one.
Is that a .com? Okay, championfor1.com. Is it spelled out? Champion for one?
Yeah, FOR. Yeah. I tried the other way. That was not available.
What are your thoughts, Ryan?
Yeah, it's long. I think it could be used for some kind of charity or charitable cause, or have some social good behind it. So potentially, again, if I'm an investor, I see more risk with that name versus other options that could be on the market. I always say for .com, stick to 2 words, right? If you can. That doesn't mean it's a bad name.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that there's not value out there, but maybe $250.
Okay, so what about findchallenges.com?
Okay, was that buying challenges or fighting challenges?
Find challenges.
Buying challenges? I'm not sure if I get it in terms of like buying a challenge. I'm not sure the use case around it. That being said, it is 2 strong English words put together, and people do tend to scoop that up. So maybe $200 to $400.
Okay, do you know challenges like Tony Robbins? All of them are doing challenges online right now. So that's what Find Challenges is about.
Trying with a T or buying with a B?
No, Find, F-I-N-D. Like to find.
Oh, find challenges. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I like that a lot better. I'm sorry, I misheard you there.
Yeah.
Find challenges. Yeah, I know challenges are a big thing in the funnel world, right? With ClickFunnels and that whole group. Everybody is promoting different types of challenges. So interesting if you could aggregate it, right? If that's your thinking behind it, aggregate what are the top challenges. That being said, I still don't love it. But again, maybe 4.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, next we have Sonny.
Hello, how's everybody doing today?
Great.
Awesome. My phone call and my question is in regards to, as you see, I'm into horses. And Kentucky is one of the biggest industries for race horses. They lead the breeding market. It's like a $23.4 billion value of equines and assets across the state of Kentucky. And as far as the studs horses, they can range from $250,000 a breeding, a very competitive market, all the way down to $25,000. The domain that I've had it for a long time, is called KentuckyBred.com. The state organization for thoroughbreds is KentuckyBred.org. So if you go to KentuckyBred.org, you'll see they run anything and everything through that site. I own KentuckyBred.net as well as KentuckyBred.com. If you look at the logo says KY Bred, KYBRED. That's the logo that they push throughout the state on anything and everything that has to do with a Kentucky Bred. I also purchased KYBred.com and KYBred.net as well. Just curious to see what your thoughts are in regards to that.
Yeah, interesting. So I'm looking on the website right now. I'm trying to determine if it's a nonprofit organization. It looks like it is. I think. Trying to see if they are or not. But you know, if I
it's not nonprofit. It's actually through the you actually have to pay them every time you register a name of the horse. Like it's actually a for profit.
Very interesting. Well, if that's the case, I mean, they're crazy not to upgrade it to KentuckyBred.com. Have you ever been approached by them?
I'm not even sure if I have it where you can access me properly. That's why this call is very interesting to me. You know, like my ideas have always been, you take a farm, you know, Calumet, you know, every Kentucky Derby horse actually stands in Kentucky after they won the Derby. 18 out of the 20 horses that start the Kentucky Derby are bred in Kentucky. You know, last year, majority of the winners are 99% of the winners are bred in Kentucky. And then they stand in Kentucky. It's a very competitive market. If you go to stallionregisters.com or you'll see, or Blood Horse, and look up Stallion Register as one of their like top of the websites. Like if you go to like Blood Horse and then look up Stallion Register at the top, and when you go through your search and you hit for the Kentucky breds, there's a lot of pride in that. Like, so like, you know, $225,000 a breeding, $185,000 a breeding, $150,000. You know, American Pharaoh, you all remember him a couple years ago. He won the Triple Crown. He stands for $100,000 a breeding, and they had a sale today. They had a horse sale for $900,000 as like a 7-month-old horse bred by one of these top stallions that are Kentucky breds. And my thought was even the farms, Claiborne Farm, you know, these big farms, they have 10 to 12 stallions that they're standing. And it's probably 15 to 20 very high profitable, top notch farms. If that's what they do. Each of these studs, they breed about 150 mares a year. Right? So just think about that for a second. They're breeding 150 a year average, and they're at 100,000, 150,000 a breeding.
Hey, Ryan, do you have a quote for him?
Yeah, so the first thing I was going to ask, what you might want to do is search a trademark, around Kentucky Thoroughbred Association to see if they actually have a trademark on that term. I'm not sure if Kentucky Bred is a trademark or it's just a cool slang for, real high quality horse.
It's not a trademark. I checked. That's something that you identify thoroughbreds by, is the state that you're bred in. Florida bred, Kentucky bred, Maryland bred. It's not trademarkable.
That's pretty cool. I mean, in that case, you obviously know where the monetization play is. Knowing all that, somewhat familiar with that marketplace. It definitely is lucrative. There's a whole business behind it. And if that is a term, I mean, that name is probably like 20, 25K at least.
Right. I mean, so what would I have to do or what would be my next step, or that would you recommend for me if that was something that I wanted to pursue?
Yeah, send me an email. Happy to discuss offline the strategies there. That's what I do every day. So, there's a tactic and approach to it. And usually when you use a domain broker, it's more effective than going direct for a number of different reasons, primarily for negotiation. When a domain broker approaches an end user, there's more of an open line of communication, and it takes the pressure off them. So, just the strategy there, but, happy to discuss.
No problem. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Big Dice, what you got, brother?
What's going on? I appreciate you guys letting me up. I'm really new to Clubhouse and really new to domain selling. I own about 64 domains. I only think I have a few that can actually generate some return. So I guess I run them down. Let's see. Bear in mind, all of these I bought these with the intent to start a business around them. So, I guess I'll just start with
Yeah, we can't take all 64. Just give us the give us the top ones you got.
I just got a few. Beautifulblackskin.com. It's supposed to be a blog around black skincare. I bought it for my daughter, but she hasn't done anything with it. Let's see. I own blogconverter.com. I can't even remember the thought process behind that. It was supposed to be an app that converted the blog into like an Instagram feed or something like that. I own bowlingforbottles.com. That was like a charity event we were doing, but I never did anything with it. I own drip.digital. Supposed to be a shopping site for digital products. Let's see what else. hustlehealthy.com. Knickknacker.com is supposed to be like a site for interior designers to recommend knickknacks for your house or whatever. I own layflatprops.com. That's like a photography thing for like lay flat photography. Just selling the stuff around that. I own love/music.com, which was supposed to be a dating site around musical taste. And conversely, love/movies.com, which is a similar thing. I also own mobileappresearch.com. It's kind of self-explanatory.
Got it. So the first comment I make is good job in terms of the comment you made earlier is that, hey, when I buy a domain, I'm in a mindset of thinking I'm going to build a business around it.
Right.
That's the mindset that every domainer should have, because and a lot of domainers don't have that. So when you buy a domain, you have to think like a business owner. How am I going to use this name? How's it going to look in my emails? How it's going to look in my ads? So that's great. I'll pull out a couple. I like Hustle Healthy. You got two H's. It's a .com. It's 2 words. It's short. It's easily pronounceable, right? That's a name. 3 to 4K. Drip Digital is kind of cool because you got the double D in it. Haven't really sold any digital names, but that's a great name to list on like a brand bucket. Blog Converter. That's a product name, right? So I'm not sure what it is, but you definitely want to list a name like that on the marketplaces like Afternic and just put it out there with a fixed price. That's what I would do. Beautiful Black Skin is a little long, even though I can see it being brandable. It's it's making my hands tired. It's a little bit too long. So I think Hustle Healthy is my favorite. That's the one I would.
Okay. We got ML Billion. I know you bought 10,000 more domains. So what's your best one, bro?
I have picked up probably about 2,000-3,000 more domains. Man, we've been.
Hey, you need to stop doing that.
The rest.
Listen, I figured, simple component, man. I'm like, if at the end of the day, it's not worth anything, I figure out how to write it off. If it is worth something, then, I spent $1 million in domains. All it takes is one for me to be at a point of completely cashing out.
See, last evening we had a guy that came on here. He owns cryptos.com, and it was appraised for over $13 million, right? We had another guy that came on here that owns hireblack.com, and Ryan appraised it for $400,000. I bought Miami.club for $800 this weekend, and I believe I can sell it for north of $20,000 if I'm really serious about selling it, right? I also bought Atlanta.club. It's just interesting, just the fact that you can actually acquire wealth this way. There's a gentleman that I discovered called Rich Schilling. Ryan, talk to him about Rich Schilling.
Oh, yeah, it's actually Frank. Sorry, it's
Frank, I apologize.
The other guy's Rick Schwartz, huge players in the marketplace. I mean, you could Google them. They're pretty much legends in the business. They got in it, in the early 90s, if not before, and just made an absolute, just crushed it, just millions and millions and millions. But, they had the foresight that down the road, that domain names were actually digital real estate that would appreciate in value. So kudos to everybody that got into the domain space from 1991 to 1994, which was really the time you could pick up domains almost for free. In certain cases, registrars were actually giving them away just to get adoption on them. So, timing is everything in business, right? That's what I've learned. It's all about timing. You make your money on the buy side. Frank Reed, he sold his company a couple years ago and had a nice exit there. He owned Uniregistry. He also had a tremendous portfolio of domains. So not only the domains, but the technology in the company as well. So GoDaddy has been acquiring selected portfolios. They're also acquiring marketplaces, and they've got the money to do it. The publicly traded company, and they see the value in monetizing domains, over the long haul. So it's a business that I think is only going to grow. There's a lot more opportunity out there. I mean, one piece of advice I would give ML Billion is, now that you have that huge portfolio, create a system to track and follow up on all of your inbound leads, because with that level of domains, the inbound lead flow that you're going to get can then be monetized, right? And that's the great thing of owning thousands of domains, is because when you get an inbound lead, if negotiations fail around one domain, then you can redirect to some other options and maybe make a deal. So that, that one of the overlooked upsides of having a large portfolio is the value of the inbound offers, right? Inbound traffic, type in traffic. You don't even know where it comes from, right? But you want to basically set up an infrastructure, an operating infrastructure to track those leads, and whether you're literally directing the email, forwarding the email to a broker or an internal salesperson, that's what you want to do.
Okay, we're going to do our first live auction. I have a domain that I'm going to offer to ML Billion and Tim. Tim owns True Fans, right? ML Billion is a baller. He likes to spend thousands of dollars and stuff, right? So I own onlyfans.club. Tim, going for $10,000. ML Billion, are you going to top that?
Hey,
y'all playing with me? I might as well make money, man. $10,000. Who wants it?
Owns the whole internet, man.
Who wants it? $10,000. Onlyfans.club. That's a lead magnet. The SEO ranking itself, I just looked it up, is pretty high. So let's go.
I'm actually shocked that was available. Really,
you got to get lucky sometimes with this.
Yeah, there's a big rush on .clubs right now, and I don't think many people are aware of it. That's the exciting part. So it's sort of like, I didn't even come up with this.
Sam, ML Billing just sent me a DM. He said he got 11. What's your offer?
This is silent now. He's you're going silent mode. Well, let me do some research real quick. I just sat down at my desk. I'm gonna do some insights. I'm gonna look at some Google Insights.
How cool would it be to turn this into a live auction where we have people flashing paddles with numbers, right? That's where it's all going.
That would be nice.
That's a cool concept, actually.
Hey, Ish. Speaking of that, Ish, guess who owns DigitalRealEstateConference.com?
Mr. Billion? That's so long, though. Let's be real. Ryan, what do you think about DigitalRealEstateConference.com?
I really like it because I'm from the event space. So, I mean, my background, I produced one of the largest Bitcoin conferences called Token Fest back in 2017 and early 2018. We had like 4,000 people. So I'm a big fan of face-to-face live events. Unfortunately, that industry has been decimated, but it is going to come back. It's going to come back stronger than ever. and the best conferences that survive are going to be niche, right? So, yeah, I'm interested in talking about that domain because, you know, part of what we're doing is going to include a live event. I mean, I'm convinced of that. When the time comes, you know, maybe it's some kind of hybrid, you know, where it's, you know, using Clubhouse and face-to-face as well. So that's a super cool domain. You want me to evaluate it?
That's what we do.
I mean, maybe $4,500.
They paid 99 cents for it, so that's a great ROI. That's a great ROI. Well, let's get going. Let's get some more people here. We have David, and then we have my good friend Mark. David, what is your domain?
Hey Ryan, yeah. So while we were in the room, I got clubhousenutrition.com.
That's fantastic. You know, it's just a plug for David too. David is my personal trainer and my nutritionist. He helped me lose like 35 pounds. He put me on, you know, basically optimized, you know, my body for high performance. So totally unrelated. But look, one of the things in domaining is you got to keep your brain smart. You got to keep the edge. And he actually introduced me to a topic called nootropics. Which is a whole nother thing. But anyways, when you're working cognitively in domaining, you're using your mind. It's like you're an author. You have to think creatively and objectively, and anything you can do to gain an edge mentally is going to help you in domaining. So just a quick plug for David. You know, nutritionists are very important. You know, you got to optimize your mind for optimal function. So he's a specialist in that. But I love that name. Again, we talked about Clubhouse potentially having a trademark issue, but what a great way to, you know, right out of the gate to maybe brand yourself in that genre. At $2,000.
I have highmile.club. The High Mile Club.
Hey Ish, this is Jeff. I just wanted to hop in and say that you guys actually, there are art auctions, and what you do is you PTR, and then they put the stuff in paddles and stuff in their actual profile. So I was just going to hop in and say there's art auction rooms actually going on, so you could do it here. So you and Ryan.
Really?
Yeah, Ryan.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, this is Clubhouse
Awesome.
Jeff, by the way. But
wow,
yeah.
I really want. If that's the case, we got to get on that right away and find out more about that.
Yeah, I'd be more than willing to help you guys out with that too. But Ryan, I sent you a DM, and Ish, good seeing you again, brother.
Hey Ish. Yeah, I just made you a moderator. Yeah, hold on one second, guys. Ryan, I literally just made this purchase right now. Highmile.club, like the High Mile Club. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, 300. Not a big fan.
All right, whatever. You went to the list. I understand. We know we have Mark, and then we'll take you, Terry. Mark, go ahead.
Hey guys, and Ish, thanks for the ping. Listen, I run a media publishing company, and with a couple of producers from ABC News. And for, you know, what we're doing is we're doing episodic content for socially conscious companies. We're creating kind of a digital space for each one of these shows that we're doing. And we've tried to like tap into specific verticals with what we're doing. And I wanted to get your take on the gaming space and this whole thing around domains that are .gg and what value there is associated with that. I mean, we're seeing now on the club side that there's a lot of opportunities to be able to tie to that. But I was kind of curious about your take on .gg, and then I'll ask you about a couple domains that we've got.
Yeah, so look, esports is one of the fastest growing segments there is, right? I think I heard Gary Vee talk about esports. I don't know what the number of billions in revenue that it's going to be in a couple of years, but it's one of the hottest sectors, right?
10 billion.
Yeah, huge, right? I'm not familiar with GG, but again, okay, so here's another interesting conversation. Could that domain become a catalyst for an industry? And who's in a position to make it a catalyst, right? I've never sold a GG. I didn't even know it was available, right? Again, I live in the .com world, but if there's a catalyst, somebody's, a big player starts branding around it, that's usually how it kicks off. So not to say that something creative can't be done there, maybe it can.
Yeah, it's interesting because right now you see a lot of gamers, especially that are coming out of the Twitch world are adopting .gg domains and to kind of create their own individual digital identity. So I'm just kind of curious your take on that.
That's interesting. So you're saying like individual gamers who are searching out sponsorships or branding around a GG?
The whole esports realm has adopted .gg, just like artificial intelligence has taken .ai.
Crazy. Yeah, I didn't even know that.
That's the native extension to esports.
I can't even keep up with it. I mean, there's so many opportunities in this space, and that's the thing. You have somebody with a gaming expertise. You know, I always say it, take what you know and invest in what you know. Stay there. So if it's gaming, you know, get all over it. Explore the different extensions. Explore, you know, the average selling prices, what names might be listed, right, that are like your name. It's great to get some data around that. So I'll have to do more research on that. I'm interested to learn more.
Yeah, I run esports and gaming for the LA Venture Association. So I'm tied into a lot of what's happening with the gaming industry and the publishers. If anyone wants more information about what's happening in LA around that, feel free to reach out to me, DM me. Be glad to have a conversation around that. Before I hop off, because I know there's a lot of people queued up, I wanted to ask you about a couple of clubs that we've got. We have esportsnow.club and we have the domino.club. I was kind of curious of your thoughts around that.
I like esportsnow.club. I mean, that's nice. It's got a ring to it. It purveys urgency, and it's got a .club. You know, I don't think it's more of a branding name, but you know, maybe 1,000.
Yeah. No, we're actually going to build a whole digital presence around, because we've got .com, we've got .gg, we've got .club, so we're just going to build a whole digital presence around that.
And that's a perfect example, right? If you're a domainer, how do you get into Mark's head before he bought that domain? Because that's the way you got to think. Okay, if you're going to build out a digital platform, how do you think the way Mark's thinking before he invests in a domain, right? What are the things he looks for? You know, if you own that domain, you'd be in a good spot to maybe negotiate, right? But you know, it's a good example where you see a domain name as really, you know, it really is digital real estate. You're going to build an entire business upon it.
Yep. Hey, real quick, Ryan, I just logged in, and I've got a few listings. I just want you to, if there's one in here that seems enticing, I want to know what that is. So I own justgetclients.com, justgetlistings.com. I own workwithnerds.com.
I like that one.
Digitalagencytips.com. Any of those sound any good? I've got pages, but
yeah, no, look, I really like, I mean, I love Work with Nerds. That's fantastic. I mean, it's 3 words, right? But it's just, it really hits home. I mean, who doesn't want to work with a nerd? I mean, that's like that's a recruiting, you know, maybe an IT development, you know, sourcing type of play. Just Get Clients, incredible for a book or somebody in the sales expertise market. So I actually really like both of those. Now, normally I don't like 3word.coms, but I really like those. Maybe, you know, 2,500 each at least.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Let's go to the next person. That will be Terry.
Yeah. So what I did is, just like everybody else, man, on here listening and buying. And I don't know what it's going to look like, but I thought about you, man, on the digital side. So I bought some .clubs. So I bought ShopifyExperts.club-ish.
I like that.
I bought ShopifyExpert.club. I bought AmazonExperts.club. AmazonPros.com. So I'm sorry, Shopify Experts, Shopify Pros, Shopify Pro. So just kind of like throwing, you know, so I just got all of them. Amazon, Shopify, Experts, Pro. And then also purchased, because I do some healthcare stuff, I bought COVIDresponse.io, and I also got COVIDresponse.club.
So interesting names. Again, very trademark sensitive. So I definitely don't want to be the guy up here endorsing any types of trademark investments around domains, but that doesn't mean that there's not a demand around it, and it's an interesting way to, maybe preliminary brand, or brand here on Clubhouse. Not a big fan of that IO. If I'm going to do an IO, it's going to be a very short, clean, generic, or a super catchy 2-word .io for me to consider it. And I don't think I was a fan of the .clubs there.
Got it. Okay, but they're 99 cents. So.
It's like, how can you go wrong, right?
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so what's up next? I'm sorry about that. I was preoccupied. Let's see. We got Alex and then Teddy. Alex, what domains do you have, my friend?
Hi there, Ish. Well, currently, I without checking, I don't have any domains that come to mind that would be interesting in getting appraised. I might own a domain called Preferred Social. I did own growyourchannel.com. I did let that expire about a year ago, and I've just seen it's up for sale like $3,000. So that's interesting. But yeah, just be interesting to hear people's thoughts actually on .property domains, since I'm in the real estate space.
Interesting. I didn't even know that was an extension. So as you can see, I'm quote unquote the domain expert.